First half profit at Ryanair jumps 10% and the company raises its guidance for full year profit. But is this as good as it gets for Europe's biggest budget airline? With me now is Ryanair Chief Executive Michael O'Leary. Thanks for joining us. That jump in profit was down to two factors, higher fares and lower oil prices. Neither, surely you're not banking on either trend continuing, right?
To be fair, I'm not sure that analysis is correct. I think the higher profits is a result of further growth. You know, we managed to grow our traffic by 7%. In some cases in markets like in Hungary, where Malev went bust, in Spain, where Spanair went bust. And we're seeing the benefits of that. We have had slightly higher airfares as well, but that's really to fund significantly higher oil prices and increases in Spanish and Italian taxes in particular. But I think overall you see the continuing cost discipline within Ryanair. While other airlines are allowing costs to rise, our unit cost rose by only 2% adjusted for fuel in the half year. And as a result, therefore, we're continuing to grow carefully but very profitably and with brilliant on-time performance over the peak summer period.
Is it fair to say that this is as good as it gets for you, given that there's no recovery in sight for the European economy?
I don't think so. I think it actually gets better. I think the more the European economy continues to struggle, the more these high-fare flag carriers who are looking at structural transformations at the moment. Iberia is talking about a major cutback in its short-haul operations. SAS is facing the possible closure or, again, very significant restructuring. I think there's going to be further and further opportunities and room for Ryanair to grow. As we've said today, currently with 80 million passengers, we're at about 12% of the European market. We think we see that over the next decade growing to 18%, or about 120 million passengers.
Just looking forward to 2013, do you share the view that next year will be tougher in terms of the economy and market conditions than 2012 was?
It's too far away, to be honest, at this point in time. You know, we don't have much visibility into our fourth quarter, which is the January to March quarter. It's far too early to be worrying about the summer of 2013. I think we've done a very good summer in 2012, significant pickup after the Olympics. We have good forward bookings into Q3, very little visibility in Q4. But forecasting out beyond that is, frankly, a waste of time at this stage.
What oil price are you budgeting for 2013? And will, if it's higher than this year, will you be passing that on to your customers?
Funny enough, we're hedging at the moment. We're about 80% hedged for the first half of next year, a slightly lower price than the first half of last year. But at the moment, we're hoping for something at or around $100 a barrel. I think over the medium term, though, I think the trend in oil prices is downwards. You see the explosion in gas, natural gas production will put a downward pressure on oil prices. I still don't understand why, for example, oil futures are so high. I think if the same kind of rampant mismanagement as went on with the LIBOR applies in oil futures, but we're still waiting for some regulator to investigate them.
OK, now you've been told by the EU to open up the routes that you share with Aer Lingus to other airlines. I suppose the question is, who would want those Aer Lingus lines, given that they would pit them against you, and you obviously have a very, very low cost base?
Well, we haven't been told yet. What we've done is we've submitted this as part of a revolutionary remedies package as part of our offer for Aer Lingus. We point again to the precedent transaction, which is BA acquiring BMI at Heathrow, the number one Heathrow airline acquiring the number two at exactly the same base. It was passed by the European authorities in phase one with almost no remedies whatsoever. And yet we're in phase two. We've submitted comprehensive remedies, which does involve, we have upfront agreements with other airlines to come to Dublin, open up bases and operate all of the crossover Aer Lingus Ryanair routes. In most cases, though, those airlines would be competing with Aer Lingus. I think very few of them would wish to compete with Ryanair, but they will compete with Aer Lingus. They have signed up. It is an upfront buyer remedies package, and I think if it's applied, if it's assessed on the same basis as British Airways, British Midland, we're confident that it will get European Commission approval. We think it's going to be very difficult for the Commission to turn it down. OK, final question, Michael. Back to the Eurozone. How would you say policymakers have coped and dealt with the crisis this year? Marks out of 10. I would have said 2. Very slow to react, a lot of talk and very little action. There needs to be much more elimination of waste within Europe, but we say that every year. Looking at the Irish government, for example, I mean, they've still not tackled a lot of the fiscal deficit. They're still hoping that somebody else will solve the problem for them. The Irish government is still taking in about 12 billion a year less in revenue than it spends. And until we close those kind of fiscal deficits, not just in Ireland, but right across Europe, I think the European project will continue to suffer from very poor economic prospects, but in a bizarre way, that'll be very good for Ryanair.
OK, Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That was Ryanair's Chief Executive, Michael O'Leary. I'm Jamie McGeever. This is Reuters.